This is Minecraft. A game thousands enjoy every day without worry. Now imagine if this game you spend countless hours on suddenly tries to kill you. Let me explain. So, last year in my freshman English class, we watched and read a film called The World's Most Dangerous Game, which came out in 1933. Well, the film came out in 1933. The book was much beforehand. The book's plot was pretty simple. While sailing to the Amazon for a jaguar hunt, Sanford Rainsford falls off his yacht near Ship Trap Island in the Caribbean. He swims to an island and discovers a luxurious mansion owned by General Zaroff, a Russian and fellow big game hunter. After a while of discussion with a pair of siblings who, after some discussion, was turned out to have shipwrecked a few days prior, the sister becoming very, very suspicious of Zaroff because after the fact that one man who survived with them in the shipwreck suddenly disappeared, they knew something was wrong. And after the brother goes missing and is later found dead, Zaroff reveals he has grown bored of hunting animals because they lack the ability to reason. To solve this, he lures shipwrecked sailors to the island to hunt the most dangerous game: humans. When Rainsford refuses to join Zaroff in his sport, Zaroff forces Rainsford to be his next prey. Rainsford is given a knife and a 3-hour head start. If he survives for 3 days, Zaroff promises to set him free. Trapped to the edge of a cliff with Zaroff's hounds closing in at the end of the movie, Rainsford leaps into the sea. Believing Rainsford had committed suicide, Zaroff returns to his mansion. That night, Zaroff finds Rainsford hiding in his bedroom. Rainsford had survived the swim and snuck back into the mansion after swimming around the island. Rainsford challenges Zaroff to a final duel. The story ends with Rainsford deciding that he had never slept in a better bed, implying he had killed Zaroff in the final standoff. The script of the story is understood. It's no surprise that this is illegal to do in real life. But I play Minecraft for a hobby and as a forming upcoming channel. So after investigating, I realized no one has ever done this before. So, with that being said, let's get into my world's most dangerous game. Day one was simple. Me and my many friends joined in and began our adventures. The players included Nightbringer, Fly Mantella, Ionized Trees, Super Bro, Classic Sonic, Balanced Berry, Nerd, Monk, Rider, and finally Meatloaf. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a rather large lineup for the very first season of a series, and you're correct. But as I mentioned, most of these people are, in fact, friends. Actually, all of them are friends. We're very close. You know what else this list is? An indication source for who my target is. Who will soon become my Rainsford that I will hunt just like General Zaroff. And who will that be? Super Bro, also known as Colin. He will be my Rainsford. Why? Well, that's easy. Out of all the people who are lined up on this roster, he overtook them, including myself, in two things: smarts and PvP skills. Colin can beat all of us in a PvP fight, so he has an advantage there. And when it comes to intelligence, I don't mean common knowledge. All of us are in high school. We have to have some sort of common knowledge to get here. I mean wits. Compared to others such as Petey and Keegan, who are always paranoid about traps that eventually cause them to fall into that said trap that are caused and created to work alongside their paranoia, Colin remains calm and keeps a clear mind, making it easy for him to dodge traps or any danger sent his way. This is a perfect fit for how Rainsford is presented in the film. He's cunning, smart, excellent in defense and offense, and he is fairly loved and respected by everyone he meets. Rainsford had many admiring and respecting him for his hunting skills and storytelling when recounting the adventures he went on. Colin is respected for his PvP skills, and not to mention, he's our server owner. We respect him so much for keeping balance. And many look up to him, almost admiring him. He truly is the perfect Rainsford. I spent my time running around and searching for a mushroom island. Why a mushroom island? Well, because I have convinced everyone that I was peaceful for the very first series. And why would I do that? Well, General Zaroff was a very well respected man and came off as a savior for these sunken shipwreck sailors. So I decided to make sure I myself fit that role. And since I need an island for my game, what better than a paradise where no mobs can spawn? But after 2 hours of running, I knew I was running out of time. See, Colin, the server owner, had made a rule that made it where the server was only open 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. every other day. Meaning if we played Monday, it would be Wednesday until we played again. So knowing I needed to stick close to my target, I died and returned to spawn. Following the course to where Colin, Donovan, and PD were staying, I successfully ended day 1 next to the very man I will soon be hunting. Days 2 started out with resource gathering since I had died and returned to spawn to go meet up with Colin and them. And one thing you need to make clear, well, I need to make clear, not you, that this server has no cheats on at all. There is no TP request, there is no keep inventory. It is a pure vanilla server. So because of that, all of us had, well, died a few times already. No, scratch that. It was more than a few. I think the total death count for one person is 10, and it was all in a mine. So, yeah, he was having a very fun time losing all his stuff. Anyway, as I was saying, in the film, Rainsford comments about how the island is big as a deer park, and a common sized deer park is around 40 acres. That means 40 blocks will go out in each direction, and because of that, many things are needed. For starters, dripstone. In the film, there are many sharp rocks that destroy the boats that meet them, involving both dripstone blocks and points to make the obviously pointy rocks. Packed mud. It is just for detail purposes. I like to blend builds, so I just got it to blend in with dripstone. Dirt. I will need a lot of dirt. If I need to go 40 in each direction, make a circle-like island shape and connect it all, plus build up because in the film, the island is raised. I will need a lot of dirt. The next thing I need is going to be stone. As I mentioned, the island is higher up, so not only will I need dirt, but I need stone to not only build cliff sides, but also connect the island surface to the ocean floor. By the end of day 2, I had 8 stacks of cobblestone, 4 stacks of dirt, 3 stacks of dripstone blocks, plus 48 pointed dripstone, and sadly only 33 pieces of packed mud. So clearly I didn't find as much as I needed, but I did manage to find a spot in the ocean where this game will take place. And as the sun set over the ocean, I knew day 2 was coming to an end. Day 3 began with me marked out on the land that I, marked out for the island which I was going to build, which I instantly began working on, but quickly noticed a problem. Because I have egg-chin render distance and kept it low, I had built my island right next to 2 giant mainlands, so I had to move it completely after making the entire outline. And after a good amount of traveling, I came across a spruce forest on an island, which is what I needed. So, instead of building my own island, I began the process of burning down trees on the island to soon terraform it into my division. But people call it deforestation. While the first burnt, I noticed a flat area of stone land that on the sides of the island, so I began writing down notes on what to change and work on. The notes included that I found in a notebook that I completely forgot I actually wrote in that night. Stone area, replaced with sand. Forest area, replaced with spruce saplings with jungle. Terraforming land, add the pointed rocks and make cliff edges. I was so specific that night at 11 p.m. The island was already raised up around 5 blocks, so all I truly had to do was go around all the edges and areas that were going to be the beach and make them flat edges that then go back through and textured, using stuff like tough, deep slate, and anything else that would truly bring the wild look to the island's edges before you even stepped foot on the surface of the island. Sadly, I only got a small portion of the island burnt because the server came to a close. So with that, I ended day 3 with the knowledge that construction had truly begun on the island. Now, most of this has just been me talking and explaining things day by day, but since I am doing a huge project, it will take me way longer than it should. So instead of making you have to sit through days that do not matter, I'm straight up just gonna cut to when I start building and point out any indicators of what's gonna happen as I go on. With that being said, let's get into our full project. Walk around and explore the island while you're here if you want.
Okay.
Gives me time to map out things, you know? Okay, so my plan was all of this is going to be like, I'm going to keep the way of the land because I'm not going to terraform everything. I want to make sure it's a struggle for him to get through everything. But I will say this. Right here, we have to cross over this, my bad.
This is where the waterfall is gonna be, where the guy actually lives after killing.
That's a cool idea, but no, I was actually going to do something else. But now that you said that, I'll keep that in mind. Now that you mention it, one of the plans I have now is I'm going to make this a ship graveyard. So this is going to have a bunch of sunken ships and stuff, but it will also have the waterfall. Because we need a place for him to jump.
That was a big important part of the movie because he jumped. Everyone thought he's dead, and he's actually alive.
I love that scene in the movie. He had the like Zaroff, whenever he heard that front door close, had the most oh shit look on his face. Went from I'm so happy to oh my god. Oh crap, he's alive.
Except this time, Colin isn't going to be coming back.
Oh, you want him fully dead?
Like, I mean, like, not like fully dead, but I mean, like, he's gonna die.
He is not surviving this.
We gotta make sure they remain completely unaware. We have to scare them a bit, you know? And you know how in the film, I actually have been thinking about this. You know how in the film, Zoroff, like, helps everybody out, but also gives them an uneasy vibe?
Mm-hmm.
What a perfect specimen to do that with Petey. Bro's always so paranoid, so what if I just start randomly showing up at his base and giving him small gifts but acting super weird about it? Like, here you go, but like peeking out from behind a wall. I have to freak him out, but also act nice. Give him that little edge to it. The next bit was just me defiling the island, basically. Throughout the night, I went through and destroyed the island's trees, flattened out some lands, put bushes, planted trees, gathered flowers, tried to make everything look overgrown. Eventually, it did actually become really, really nice. At one point, got super excited. I was like, this looks awesome. It still looks awesome. So, by then, I have the island's layout done, the traps marked out, and the main build of the house done. The outline was complete, and the only thing I needed was not only the interior, but to, plant the island's trees, which was rather hard because I hadn't found a jungle yet, so I was only using 12 saplings planting the trees, and to get more, I would plant one, break it, and over and over and over and over again. So, throughout this process, that is what you see. But, speaking of the house, this is what the house looks like. It's actually really, really good in my opinion, because seeing as there's no tutorial for the house, and there's not really a close-up view of the house as a whole in the film, I say this was pretty good. Because inside of the pictures that I showed at the very beginning of the video, the house is a square base, as you can see. The front and the main part is square, but you also have two little side parts that are square but shorter than the main house, which is where I got the shape that I have. So earlier in this video, whenever I first introduced this henchman of mine, I blurred his voice. but I decided not to. Basically, my henchman was Donovan, aka Nightbringer. He was going to help me with all my traps, help set everything up, and it helped a lot because Donovan was Colin's teammate. So having someone so close to Colin and being able to tell me where he was gave me enough clearance to sneak to their base a lot and leave little signs everywhere with quotes from the movie that, gave him a hint on what I was about. But Colin never really noticed them, so that was pointless. But it still was good to have a little help on the island because it was a huge project. So one day I invited him over. First, he helped me get most of the sand I needed because, good lord, I needed a lot of sand for that beach area. Anyway, I invited Donovan over to help set up the traps I was planning on making. So, here's just a few little clips of our conversation and snippets of what happened. Perfect. Alright, I got that on video. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
I just casually have you squeaking out on me.
You need to send me that, honestly, because, all I can see is just, everything moving very fast.
Your head was just, bobbing back and forth so quick that it looks like you're snapping your neck every movement. Go around with these dark oak planks and then those 3 signs and put an X down with a sign that tells which one you want to do.
Let me think of, what?
No, where every single one of them needs to go. Melee main catcher. Hold up. That's actually a good spot because I say the game will fully commence whenever you run to that tree, and when he goes to run past, you should drop it right here.
Yep.
I think that would be perfect because it needs to be closest to the house. Look at that! You're thinking smart. Ooh. You're getting spring trap. Okay.
I could spell spring.
You spelled it right.
I know, I didn't spell it right the first time.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about, dude? It's spelled right. I the safe spot, and he goes this way, and then he ducks down, and then boom. Plus, he'll have no armor on.
That's true.
So it'll get him a good bit, but it won't take him down too much to be like, oh, well, great, we killed him before anything even started. And I saw this down here. Let me guess. Yeah! He does over here. So, I'm Colin, I'm gonna run through here, blah, 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 woo! 1.5. And when he gets back out, it'll do some more, okay? So I'm on 1.5 hearts. Oh no. Running. Oh my god!
It almost kills you.
It dropped me down to 2 hearts. I want my water.
I think it's a little deep.
Oh, really? Can I have my water? Please?
Yeah, I got you.
I want to let me up. What the? Oh, I was about to say, did you box me in? I don't want to see you no more.
Yeah.
Everything was going perfect. The house was designed and built, a test that took so much out of me because I was limited with creativity. Trying to build a house you only saw in one scene of a black and white movie from 1924, a house that had very little details and was only made of stone, that was horrible. And I also had to do the interior, and I was only relying on some photos of a living room, staircase, and a basement door and a piano. But not including the dining room that was mentioned inside of the story but not the film. So I truly was lost, but I did try my best to recreate everything as close as can be. Not to mention, the island's transformation had gone wonderfully. The flat Tunga biome had been transformed, rescaped, terraformed, and had trees replaced log by log until it became the start of a lush jungle that had yet to even begin to fully flourish and spread its never-ending branches that were bound to connect to each other in the long run. But, just like Zaroff in the film, his true intentions and plans were figured out by Rainsford far before the reveal was planned to take place. This event caused the hunt to begin before he wanted it to, but he still went along with it. A great hunter always does. Why am I stating this? It's because Colin had found out. and my game, unlike Zaroff's, wasn't going to continue. You see, the very few people that were on the server originally, there was supposed to be a lineup of 10, like I stated far ahead of the beginning of this tale. But what I didn't tell you is that only 6 of the 10 joined the server, soon becoming 5 since Fly Mantella joined only once and never stepped foot on the server's grass again. And then what happened? It only left 5 of us to continue building. But I was so far away, surrounded in my empire that was being built up of stones with secrets engraved to them, never visiting any of them. And it became as if myself had left the server just by the lack of appearances. Balance Berry herself had grown of interest and left the server for more things in the Grand Blocky Plain, leaving practically 3. Petey, Nightbringer, and Colin, my own Rainsford. And even they grew bored of the same landscape day after day. And it was because of that, the lack of people, the lack of interactions, and the slowly fading out of creativity, the server would soon begin to crumble like gravel over a torch. And it was decided that the server was going to be shut down. And because of that revelation, I decided to come clean, announcing my plans to Colin as confidently as Zaroff had informed Rainsford inside of that cold, damp dungeon. Since I had planned this for nearly 5 months, since the beginning of the server started, it was out of the same respect that Zaroff held for Rainsford, a well-known writer, that I told my Rainsford of my secrets engraved in bricks. He was shocked, to say the least. He didn't notice any of my attempts to hint at what my goal was, fully sold on the fact I was a peaceful player without armor, living across the ocean, building a paradise for everyone to come and visit. And yet, despite my disgusting, backstabbing plans, he was impressed. He said my plans were cool. He was in awe of the fact I managed to slowly morph him into an animal, into a man that he had never met before and never remembered. And as the sun set over that empty stone building built on hills of deception and lies I created, I realized something. Rainsford in the film matched my chosen Rainsford perfectly. Or so I believed. After all, you can have the same matching qualities of many others in the world, whether it be personality, hair color, eye color, face structure. But there is always one difference that will make an impact as big as a charged creeper's explosion, and I quickly began noticing Colin's trait. Something I hadn't noticed in my choosing of Rainsford, something I hadn't noticed after 2 months of planning and scheming, something I hadn't noticed after 5 months in the same server, something I haven't noticed after 4 years of friendship, and that was his acceptance of everything I had done. Rainsford with Zaroff in the film showed defiance, survival nature kicking in, as he fought to escape the confines inside of that overgrown jungle he viewed as a killer's landscape. Colin didn't have that. His awestruck nature and respect for the friendship we built over the years before ever touching grass on the server stayed strong as he heard my plans and read the pages of writing I had to keep my plans running smoothly. And as those differences dawned on me, a smile formed on my lips as my head lowered towards the stone beneath me. My ending wasn't by my plan finishing. No. It was by the shadow of a sword being drawn over my bowed form by the very man I chose to be my Rainsford. The very man I believed I could overtake, unlike Zaroff did. Yet I met the same end as the Russian killer, just by a different type of execution. Seems like some sayings are true. Zaroff and Rainsford were doomed in every universe. Me and my Rainsford were doomed in every universe. But maybe, just maybe, our hunt could continue. Just not on this blocky land. Not on this server's land. Not with each other. Colin, you were the prey in the world's most dangerous game. Just like Sanger Rainsford. And I was the hunter, like General Zaroff. You survived my game, just like Rainsford did in the play. You were the prey that got away from me. Just like Zaroff said, prey, it must have courage, be cunning, and above all, you must be able to reason. And you were, in Sanger's words, still a beast at bay. You were the scum of the earth, and I was the rights of the strong. The very words described in the unfortunate tale. Thank you, Colin, for being the prey in my world's most dangerous game. I am so sorry.